After US troops left South Vietnam and Cambodia, the communist regime of the Red Khmers took control of the country. Between 1975 and 1979, they committed genocide of over 2 million people, 1/4 of the country's population. Following Maoist ideology, the leader Pol Pot installed a new era called Cambodia Year Zero. By eliminating everything related to the past, the currency, finances, closing schools, hospitals, abolishing literature and any kind of art, culture, and religion, the Khmer Rouge subjected Cambodia to a radical social reform process that was aimed at creating a purely agrarian-based communist society. City dwellers were declared enemies of the state. Intellectual people, people who could speak another language or had a college degree or even simply wore glasses, were considered suspicious and were transferred to torture prisons. The most famous of these prisons was Tual Sleng, Security Office 21. Formerly a school, it is now the Museum of Genocide. It covers an area of 600 by 400 meters, surrounded by 2 rows of iron fence covered with dense barbed wire. Classrooms were turned into small cells of 80 centimeters by 2 meters. The front of the building was covered in a wire fence, preventing prisoners from committing suicide. Building A was converted into a set of rooms 6 by 4 meters each, and windows were paneled with glass to minimize the screams of prisoners. The ground floors of buildings B, C, and D were rebuilt into small brick cells, and the other floors into large cells where many prisoners were crowded together. Around 20,000 people were placed into this prison, but only 7 survived. In January 1979, the bodies of 14 victims were found, one whom was female. They were the last people to be tortured and killed. They are buried in front of Building A. "17 kilometers south of Phnom Penh is the center of the genocide, one of the major extermination areas. 8,000 corpses were found there. Clothes and shoes of the people were found here as well. Victims were beaten to death by sharp instruments which were used as weapons to save ammunition. The killing tree is where newborns and children were beaten and then thrown into a pit. At the magic tree, a loudspeaker was hung to make sound louder than the moan of victims. the international community remained silent about the situation. In the middle of the Cold War, the US was interested in isolating Vietnam, but Pol Pot isolated the country, forbidding the entry of any foreign institution. There were few protests by Australia, India, and New Zealand, but the US used its veto power at the UN. In October 1979, the Vietnamese army invaded Cambodia and defeated the regime of Pol Pot. That's when the dark reality started to come out. Pol Pot, leader of the Red Khmers, died in 1998 in the Cambodian jungle at the age of 73. He was never put on trial. Nuon Chia, also known as Brother Number 2, was arrested in 2007 and prosecuted by the International Tribunal for Genocide and Crimes Against Humanity. Ieng Sary, Brother Number 3, was arrested in 2007 and prosecuted by the International Tribunal for Genocide and Crimes Against Humanity. He died in 2013 at the age of 87. Ieng Therith, wife of Ieng Sary, a social action minister, was arrested in 2007 and prosecuted by the International Tribunal for Genocide and Crimes Against Humanity. Absolved in 2011 for suffering from Alzheimer's disease. Khieu Samphan, president of Democratic Cambodia, was arrested in 2007 and prosecuted by the International Tribunal for Genocide and Crimes Against Humanity. Kangwe Giav, also known as Dutch, director of S21 prison, was sentenced in February 2012 by the International Tribunal to life imprisonment. Making the crimes of the inhuman regime of the Red Khmers public plays crucial role in preventing a new Pol Pot from emerging in the lands of Angkor or anywhere on Earth.